The transformative power of vulnerability, unleashing our true potential. Imagine a world where our greatest strengths emerge from our deepest vulnerabilities. A world where authenticity trumps perfection, where empathy fuels innovation, and where the courage to be imperfect sparks unprecedented growth. This isn't a far-off utopia. It's a reality within our grasp, waiting to be embraced. Today, I'm thrilled to share with you the profound insights I've gained from a recent conversation with Tacara Wyvette Wilson, professionally known as author Wyvette Wilson. Tacara is not just an international impact award-winning romance author, but a visionary entrepreneur whose work is reshaping how we view success, leadership, and personal growth. Her groundbreaking brand, Bossette Behavior trademark, has earned her the Global Recognition Award, and she's been nominated for the prestigious Pen to Profit Global Game Changer Award. Takara's impact is so significant that she's been invited to speak at a renowned women's conference in Paris in 2025. Her insights are not just changing lives, they're changing the very fabric of how we approach our personal and professional journeys. As I sat across from Tacara, her presence radiated a warmth and authenticity that immediately put me at ease. It was clear that here was a woman who not only preached vulnerability, but lived it. And it's this very quality that has catapulted her to success in her various endeavors. But what truly captivated me was the unexpected perspective she shared on a topic we often overlook in our pursuit of success, the power of vulnerability. In our society, we're often taught that vulnerability is a weakness. We build walls, put on masks, and try to present a perfect, unflappable version of ourselves to the world. But what if I told you that this approach might be holding us back from reaching our full potential? What if embracing our vulnerability could be the key to unlocking deeper connections, greater motivation, and unprecedented personal and professional growth? This is the transformative idea that Tacara shared with me, and it's one that has the potential to revolutionize the way we think, feel, and behave in all aspects of our lives. As she eloquently put it, together, empathy and vulnerability form a foundation of understanding and motivation. When we feel seen and heard by others, we're more likely to be motivated to take action and make positive changes in our lives. Now, I can almost hear the skepticism creeping in. Vulnerability in the cutthroat world of business, in our personal relationships where we're trying to put our best foot forward, it sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But I urge you to suspend your disbelief for a moment, because the evidence supporting this idea is not just compelling, it's revolutionary. Let's start by examining a real-world example that Tacara shared with me. It's the story of Tacara Companies, a franchisee of Taco Bell. Now, you might not immediately associate fast food with vulnerability and empathy, but prepare to have your assumptions challenged. Tacara Companies recognize the crucial need within their organization, the need to provide employees with tools for professional growth and to foster a culture of recognition and support. Instead of maintaining a rigid top-down structure, Tacara took a vulnerable approach. They opened themselves up to the needs and aspirations of their employees. Imagine the courage it took for the leadership to admit that there were areas where their employees needed support and growth. Imagine the vulnerability required from employees to voice their needs and dreams. This wasn't just about business metrics. It was about creating a culture where people felt seen, heard, and valued. The result? Tacara established the Tacara Leadership University, offering leadership and business training. They funded GED certification programs and provided scholarships for college and vocational school. But the impact went far beyond just employee development. Tacara has distributed over $3.5 million in grants and donations to local teen-serving organizations, encouraging young people to graduate from high school and explore their career passions. This isn't just corporate social responsibility. This is vulnerability in action. It's a company saying, we see you, we hear you, we believe in you. And the results speak for themselves. Improved employee professional careers, a strong sense of community involvement, and a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond the company walls. But let's not stop there. Tacara shared another fascinating example with me, this time from the world of education. Alva Academy, a state secondary school in Scotland, implemented a collaborative approach to tracking achievement with a focus on skills. Now, in the traditional educational model, we often focus solely on academic achievements, test scores, grades, and the like. But Alva Academy recognized the need to acknowledge and record young people's personal achievements beyond the formal curriculum. Think about the vulnerability required here. The school had to be vulnerable enough to admit that their current system wasn't capturing the full picture of student achievement. The students had to be vulnerable in sharing their personal achievements and skills that might not fit into traditional academic categories. The school developed partnerships with community learning and development providers to support achievement opportunities and youth awards. The result? Improved recognition and tracking of young people's skills and achievements. This approach supported a broader range of children and young people's achievements to be recognized and recorded throughout their education journey. Pause for a moment and consider the impact this could have on a young person's life. Imagine a student who might not excel in traditional academic subjects but has incredible leadership skills or artistic talents. In a traditional system, this student might feel overlooked or undervalued, but in an environment that embraces vulnerability and looks beyond traditional metrics, this student's unique strengths can be recognized and nurtured. This brings me to one of the key insights I gained from my conversation with Tacara: the importance of authentic leadership in creating a culture of empathy and vulnerability. Leaders who model these traits can inspire their teams to do the same, leading to more collaborative and innovative work environments. But what does authentic leadership look like in practice? It's about being real, being human. It's about admitting when you don't have all the answers. It's about sharing your own struggles and challenges. It's about creating an environment where it's okay to take risks, to fail, and to learn from those failures. Tacara shared a third example with me that beautifully illustrates this concept. This study focused on mutual mentoring and its effect on faculty career achievements. Now, in traditional mentoring relationships, we often see a hierarchical structure, a more experienced mentor imparting wisdom to a less experienced mentee. But mutual mentoring turns this model on its head. In this study, participants engaged in mentoring relationships where both parties were seen as having valuable insights to share. This required vulnerability from both the senior and junior faculty members. The senior faculty had to be vulnerable enough to admit that they too had areas where they could learn and grow. The junior faculty had to be vulnerable in sharing their fresh perspectives and ideas. The results were remarkable. Participants reported significant professional achievements and career advancements. They highlighted the power of established networks and gained valuable career resources. This study demonstrates how empathy and vulnerability can be fostered through mentoring relationships, leading to professional growth and success. Now, I want to pause here for a moment and acknowledge something. Embracing vulnerability can be scary. It goes against much of what we've been taught about success and leadership. We worry that if we show our vulnerabilities, we'll be seen as weak or incompetent. But what these examples show us is that the opposite is true. When we have the courage to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to deeper connections, greater understanding, and unprecedented growth. This brings me to another key insight from my conversation with Tacara: the role of empathy and vulnerability in personal growth and development. By embracing these qualities, we can better understand ourselves and others, leading to more meaningful relationships and professional success. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly understood by someone? When was the last time you felt that someone really saw you, flaws and all, and accepted you anyway? Chances are, in those moments, both you and the other person were being vulnerable. You were taking the risk of showing your true selves. These moments of connection, these moments of true understanding, they're not just nice to have. They're essential for our personal growth and well-being. They allow us to see ourselves more clearly, to understand our strengths and weaknesses, and to grow in ways we never thought possible. But here's the thing. This kind of growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in relationship with others. It happens when we create environments in our workplaces, in our schools, in our communities, where vulnerability and empathy are valued and encouraged. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we move from theory to practice. Because it's one thing to understand the power of vulnerability intellectually. It's another thing entirely to put it into practice in our daily lives. So, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge, a call to action, if you will. I challenge you, our listeners, to embrace vulnerability and empathy in your personal and professional lives. By doing so, you can foster deeper connections, achieve greater growth, and inspire positive change in yourselves and others. What might this look like in practice? Maybe it means admitting to your team that you don't have all the answers and asking for their input. Maybe it means sharing a personal struggle with a friend or colleague. Maybe it means taking a risk on a new project or idea, even if you're not sure it will succeed. Whatever it looks like for you, I encourage you to take that step, to be brave enough to be vulnerable, to be courageous enough to show empathy. Because here's the truth: vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the most accurate measure of courage we have. As I reflect on my conversation with Tacara Wilson, I'm filled with a sense of hope and possibility. Hope for a world where we can bring our whole selves to our work, our relationships, and our communities. Possibility for the incredible growth and connection we can achieve when we have the courage to be vulnerable. Remember, every great change, every great innovation, every great connection starts with a moment of vulnerability, a moment where someone was brave enough to say, I don't know, or I need help, or I have an idea. So, as we conclude our time together, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your vulnerability is your strength. Your empathy is your superpower. Use them wisely, use them often, and watch as they transform your world. I challenge you to go out into the world and be courageously vulnerable. Share your authentic self with others. Listen with empathy. Create spaces where others feel safe to do the same. Because when we do this, when we have the courage to be vulnerable and the compassion to be empathetic, we create a world of possibility, a world where we can truly connect, truly grow, and truly thrive. Imagine the ripple effect if each of us committed to this practice. Imagine workplaces where innovation flourishes because people feel safe to share their ideas. Imagine schools where every child's unique talents are recognized and nurtured. Imagine communities where empathy bridges divides and fosters understanding. This isn't just a dream, it's a reality we can create, one vulnerable, empathetic interaction at a time. And it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with all of us right here, right now. So I ask you, will you join me in this revolution of vulnerability and empathy? Will you have the courage to show your true self to the world? Will you create spaces where others can do the same? The choice is yours, and the potential impact is immeasurable. Remember, in the words of Brene Brown, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Let's show up. Let's be seen. Let's change the world one vulnerable, empathetic moment at a time. The revolution starts now. Are you ready? Thank you.